Welcome to Riks Europe. My name is Peter Kleppe, and today I have as my guest Dominika Sabova, who's the former representative of the Slovak Parliament to the European Parliament. Now, recently we had, let's say, world news in Slovakia when there was a murder attempt on the Prime Minister, Robert Fico, amid, let's say, already a tense political situation. So, Dominika, what can you tell us about this?
Yes, it's a very sad event, but I think that it started much earlier. The society in Slovakia is very divided. This has been the reality since COVID, but especially since the last presidential election in March. And the opposition in Slovakia has been on the streets protesting every new legislative proposal that comes from this cabinet since its election. So definitely we can say that the opposition, together with liberal media, have created a very tense atmosphere in the Slovak society. And unfortunately, this is what happens when unstable person is influenced by this atmosphere.
And so what is the accusation? So because, of course, let's say the international media depict Robert Fico as some kind of a friend of Putin who is obstructing EU decision-making, whereas even if you look into it, Slovakia is often cooperating perfectly. So is that a fair depiction, or is it, excessive simplification?
Robert Fico and his party Smer are social democrats. And he is a very standard European politician. He is the one who got Slovakia into Eurozone. He is a very pan-European. He has always been very pan-European, but he is also critical of certain policies of European Union, like immigration or abolition of veto powers. And he's not afraid to say it out loud. So I understand that they are trying to put him in the same box as, let's say, Viktor Orban, but there are many differences, and we have to say that Robert Fico has always been very pro-European and just a standard leftist politician, but he is traditionalist. This is the difference of the social democracy in the West and in the central part of the Europe. That we are more traditional. We are the social democrats are sovereignists. So maybe these are the point of differences between the social democracy in the West and in the East.
That's interesting because the day before the attack happened, there was an important vote on the migration pact, and then there were only two member states voting against. I mean, that was Hungary, of course, with Orban, but also Poland with the, supposedly pro-European, if you have to believe the simplistic media, media picture, Mr. Tusk. So he voted against, whereas Slovakia, they only abstained. So maybe that can indeed already show that it's not so simple to say that, this is an obstructionist government. But indeed, as you say, clearly he takes national sovereignty serious. And I'm sure when it comes to sensitive topics like migration, I can imagine in a country like Slovakia, it's not so evident, to go along with all these EU policies, right?
Yes, he is a very pragmatic politician, and he understands that he cannot lead too many battles on all the fronts at the same time. he has to pick his fights, and this is one of these situations. But as per latest information that I've received, the Slovak government is not planning to abide by the rules of this migration pact when it comes to redistribution of mandatory redistribution of migrants, and they will not accept them. And as far as I heard, they don't even plan to pay the sum of money that is required if you refuse these migrants. Let's see how this battle will continue. The Hungary also stated that this fight is not over yet. So let's see where it goes. And yes, this is one of the points that Poland, Hungary, and Slovakia have in common. They're also part of the Visegrad 4, so it's a regional organization. And a lot of people try to point at the differences that these countries have among each other, but we have to remember that this is a regional organization, and they only use this platform for points that they have in common. They don't discuss world views together. They discuss regional issues, and immigration is one of them.
And actually, maybe just on immigration and the idea that you can, solve the chaos by, redistributing people within Europe, within the Schengen passport-free zone. I mean, anybody with a little bit of a brain, I think, should understand that given that there are no passport checks, you cannot force people to stay somewhere. If you have somebody from Syria, of course, you can't blame that person from moving to a city where, there are maybe more black market jobs, but also where you have already, people from Syria that can help him out. This has happened in the United States, immigrants moving to places where, where friends and family already lived. So I find it just beyond belief that this is in 2024 still presented as somehow, a solution for the massive migration chaos. I mean, wherever you stand on the argument, surely this cannot be the solution, right? And then it's indeed good that we have, I think, some more, sensible thinking, typically in Central and Eastern Europe, of countries saying, look, I mean, we don't think this is a good idea, right?
Right, and exactly this is the position also of this government in Slovakia. They are very pragmatic. They say we are available for any kind of help. They are actually even at the moment helping to guard the Serbian borders with Hungary, and we have also sent, if I remember well, during the 2015 crisis, help to Italy to deal with the immigration influx, etc. So this government, Slovak government, says yes, we understand this is an issue. We are ready to help. But we are not going to be forced to accept people we don't want to live with. And I am also very curious how they want to enforce this mandatory redistribution in the Schengen area. It doesn't make any sense.
Maybe one more question. So what is the difference specifically with Orban and Hungary, also because, of course, there has been historical tensions between Slovakia and Hungary. So could you tell a bit more about that, perhaps?
Yes, so we can see that today the relations are today between the two countries are very positive, but it hasn't been the case. It hasn't always been the case. We had historically a lot of disputes, and I'm talking only about the modern history, and one of them is the dispute over the hydroelectric dam in southern part of Slovakia and northern part of Hungary. This dispute existed since 70s and was resolved just a decade ago during one of the governments of Prime Minister Fico or of Smer. So I think the why these relations are so positive today is because we are able, when we have pragmatic leaders, they are able to put disputes aside, and if there are common threats, they join forces to fight it. And I think the battle that is going to be fought next by these two countries is going to be the abolition of veto powers, or attempt to abolish them in the EU.
Exactly. Yeah, they never cease to try to grab vetoes, and then and part of the problem is then you get these kind of weird decisions that are not supported by everybody, like the idea that you can fight migration chaos by shipping people around Europe. So indeed, it would be great to restore vetoes, and then you can still have European-wide decisions, but you just need to get everybody on board. That's probably not a bad guarantee to make sure that decisions are actually sensible. So, well, thank you very much, Dominika Sabova, and thanks to our viewers to watch Riks Europe.
Thank you very much as well.